Thank you for pressing the self-destruction button.
Hey! Oh, hey! It's, it's like a koala bear cracked a rainbow in my brain!
Listen, here's $5. I've got to get to 1008 Park Avenue right away. It's an emergency. Look, I'm really in a hurry. Isn't there something you can do? $10 more. Look, I've got to be there before 5. Well, what's going on up there? We're getting someplace. Now, look, will you just get around him? Just get in his lane. Do it! I've got to be there by 5. Hey, mister, you're going to be 10 minutes late, so just keep your shirt on.
I think, a lot of us have family members that are going through a crisis or dealing with problems like this. So it's art therapy in a way. It's a cathartic kind of release for me.
Rack lays it up, no, but we do have a whistle and a foul. Ben just went after our 10. Trouble right here in the Motor City. We got big trouble here in the Motor City. Steven Jackson still screaming at the Pistons.
He came back now, but
going on the headsets. The Indiana broadcast.
And Ben Wallace just threw something at him. There goes Ben Wallace again.
There goes Artest up into the crowd. He's absolutely out of his mind. And Steven Jackson slugging people in the crowd here.
The whole Indiana team is in the crowd.
And now the Pistons are coming over.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see somebody go past the window? What? Somebody just went past that window, downwards. Oh. Must be a board meeting. Oh, yeah.
He's faking it, Julie. He's faking it.
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
Mountain's on fire! Mountain's on fire!
Sir, I would like to complain about that last scene about people falling out of high buildings. I myself have worked all my life in such a building and have never once...
Jack, you know what? Hey, I really like that hate t-shirt. The whole angry young man, black thing, generation. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, it's the name of a comic book. Can I borrow your pen 1 second?
Absolutely.
Happy now?
My artwork is popular because it connects with the ordinary person, and they can understand it very easily. And I've always meant it to be so. I've never confined my art to a particular section of humanity. I love people in general. My art reflects it, and that's the way it's always been.
Let me try that again. Hello, and welcome to Taylor Talks Comics Live. How's everyone doing today? It's National Device Appreciation Day. So everyone appreciate your favorite device, whatever that may be. How's it going? Is everyone gearing up for Christmas? Getting into the Christmas spirit? Trying to improve my shot here. I got stacks of books next to me. Is everybody ready for the holidays, though? How's everybody going? Everybody doing? Looks like we got the chat lighting up here. Thank you, guys. Everyone, please let me know how you're doing, what comics you've been reading lately. James Abel's in the house. Thank you. And so is our other super producer. Reruns again every week. Josh, you want me to prepare a whole new show for you every week? What happens next? Is this where the scary guy talks to us again? Are you referring to Jack Kirby, Badger Stump? Thank you for joining me, by the way. Does Ben Affleck read comics? I think he at least moderately does. I mean, he claims to be a big Batman and Daredevil fan. I think by way of Kevin Smith, I think he's read comics. He probably read comics in preparation for Chasing Amy. I don't know how deep he is into it, but I'm certain that Ben Affleck has read some comics in his time. Chris Brogan's here. Thank you for joining me. So is Dana. Thank you for joining me. I was watching that. Heading out to Parents tomorrow. You for the holidays? We're staying in town the whole time, which would be nice. Doing our typical thing. I think usually we do Christmas morning with their son, open presents and things, and then later that afternoon we usually go over to the in-laws and hang out the rest of the day for Christmas. And then my mother's side will be going over there the following weekend, I think. So kind of typical what we do every year. I want brand new each week. My shop got shorted on the Mark Spears blind bags. Oh, Fear Monarch, thank you for joining me. Pretty much ready for Christmas. I've been reading the second ROM Omnibus and Gold Key Korak comics. Wow, that's awesome. Awesome list of things. So I do want to plug a few things. Last week, I had the pleasure of interviewing Simon Hanselman, the great cartoonist that does the Meg, Mog, and Owl series. A fantastic time. You doing okay? Seem a little tired. No, I'm fine. Thank you, though. I appreciate you asking. Last week, we had Simon on. Great interview. Great. He's just always an interesting interview, no matter who's interviewing him. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. But we did go on for like 2 hours. It's a very extensive interview. And both of us agreed that we could have gone much longer. We just had things to do. But he did hang out with me off the air for another 20 to 30 minutes, telling me some behind the scenes stuff, some off the record things about his TV deals, which was a lot of fun. Nothing that I can tell you guys, obviously, but it was a fun interview, and he said he'd love to come back, and I think we're trying to plan something for January. I think I'm gonna have Josh Pettinger on. Pettinger, sorry, Josh Pettinger. He hit me up after the Simon interview and said that he would love to come on sometime. So I told him I had one interview this week, which I'll get to in a second, and then I'm gonna take 2 weeks off for the holidays, and then starting January, I'm going to start. My goal, I think, is to try to do like one a week. I think my goal, obviously, I've told you guys this. For the live show, I'd love to do interviews on the live show. There we go. I was wondering why it's so dark back there. But I don't know. I don't know that it works. I'm still trying to work out the kinks for that. But for now, I'm gonna still do the live show once a week and then do one interview a week, maybe. Like that's my goal. Is try to get that rolling, and then I will do some. I think I'm gonna like cut down the interviews into smaller videos as well to try to build some more content, I guess. And people have asked if the edited videos that I do, like the overviews and things, are they gone forever? No, they're not. I know it's been a little slow lately in that department, but I promise they're not going away. I have at least 3 end of the year videos planned where I'm going to be doing 3 top 10 lists. I'm going to do like my top 10 favorite comics of 2025 for the comics that have come out this year. I'm going to do my top 10 favorite collected editions or collected material. And that'll be collected editions that came out this year, but collect older material. And then the third video will be my top 10 favorite old reads. I don't know. I haven't decided a name on this one yet, but it'll be my favorite reads that I read this year that did not come out in 2025. Things that came out last year or, as far back as the beginning of time. So there'll be 3 of those top 10 videos coming out. Something I want to really commit to because I read so many books every year, and the last couple of years I failed to do a end of the year list, and it's a good. Obviously, it's good for content because people like these lists, but for my own personal self, it's nice to have these kind of capstones. And then whenever I bring a book up in topic, I can be like, oh yeah, that was my 2025 top 10 list. But yeah, so those 3 videos will be coming out, and then also I have a lot of catch up to do with Fantagraphics books that have come out recently. So that's probably gonna be the end of the year content. Will be mostly me catching up with Fantagraphics books as well as those 3 top 10 videos, and then some interviews. So the other day, Monday, I believe, I had the pleasure of interviewing Chris Wisnia. Chris Wisnia, if you don't know, did Doris Danger, Giant Monsters Amok. Fantastic book. I showed this off in my 31 Days of Horror Comics this past October. It's an amazing book. I absolutely love this thing. I have to show this off every time anytime I can bring this up into conversation somehow. It's such a cool project. It's Chris Wisnia swiping a bunch of old Kirby monster comics. But he's created this character of Doris Danger, who's a journalist, trying to capture and record footage of these giant monsters, kind of like Bigfoot style, where people don't believe Bigfoot exists, so Doris Danger's on the hunt for it. But then there's so he's swiping all these comics, but then adding some continuity to it. But they have this found footage aspect to it where you can't see it on here, but you can see it in my video. If Josh wants to link that, I'd appreciate it. But even the paper stocks look different. How yellowed some of the pages are. Some of them have coffee stains on them. Some of them have this little kid's writing crayon on them and things. And the coloring is all done by Ricky Sprague. And he did all these cool coloring techniques where some of it's totally off register. And some of it has an imprint from a previous page on it where we've seen old comics like that. This total masterpiece of capturing that nostalgia of the old Golden Age comics. But it does have a through continuity with this Doris Danger character through all of it. So it's as if Chris Wisnia found all these comics, these Golden Age comics, and then kind of is piecing them together slowly, but can't fit in all the holes. I can't find a whole consecutive 100 issues or anything, but he's kind of piecing them together for you in here. And there's some editorial things in here that are kayfabe, some letters pages that are kayfabe. Rob Oder is the editor-in-chief, and he's constantly kind of talking about the comics within. And there's some letters pages, and there's cool pinups too, where he had a bunch of artists do these cool pinups. You can't see that too good. That's Mike Allred doing that pinup. He's got Gilbert and Jaime Hernandez doing pinups in here. But then there's this whole meta aspect to it as well, the found footage aspect to it. So it's part really, really fun Golden Age classic throwback story and part meta found footage kind of story. This is such a cool project. It's totally up my alley. I don't know if that's why I love it so much. It's because it's it feels like a comic book made for Taylor, because it's got definitely that indie self-published feel, but mixed with the classic Golden Age comics. You don't get that a lot. But I had the pleasure of interviewing Chris, and that's something I've been trying to set up for a long time. He hit me up, I think the first time before I even did that video, I think I just posted a picture of how I was reading this. And he was like, hey, I should do a show with you and we could talk about this. But during the interview, so I found this too. This was an old copy of Doris Danger, Giant Monster Adventures, and this is black and white. And this was published by Slave Labor. I can never say their name. Slave Labor Graphics, SLG. They're most famous for doing the what's it called? Johnny the Homicidal Maniac comics. It's probably like their most famous comic they ever did. But they also started off doing the earliest output of Jim Ruggs' Street Angel. So Chris Wisnia did this, and I found out that there's 2 other books that I don't have, and none of this has been collected in the Fantagraphics book. So this isn't just like a collection of all the old material. This is like brand new stuff. I mean, brand new as of the publishing of this book. And there's still like 2 other books that I need to pick up that I'm missing out on that were also black and white. And the cool thing is all those pinups from all those artists, not all the pinups made it in here. I assume that all the pinups he had collected over the years made it into the big book, but they hadn't. Like, I think there's a Mike Mignola pinup maybe that he talked about that wasn't in here. But really fascinating conversation. Chris Wisnia is a really cool guy, just a cool comic book fan. And so that interview will be dropping probably later this week. We went about an hour for that one, so it's not as long as the Simon one, and we could have gone longer as well. I'm probably gonna have Chris back on sometime. So, excuse me. So look forward to that. If you want to hear more about that, I just got to edit that video, because one thing I'm trying to do with the interviews too is because for some reason interviews don't do well on YouTube when you interview a comic book creator. I don't know why. As far as views go, and I want them to be intriguing and I want people to watch them. So one of my goals is to add like a visual aspect to it with these pictures that just pop up while you're watching the video. Nothing fancy, nothing like high tech, just to add context to the conversation. So like if Simon, when he was bringing up a cartoonist, I'd try to pull up their comic book. So you'd have, because that's sometimes like when I'm watching an interview with the creator and they mention offhand, like this comic they like I want to go search it out. But if I didn't hear the name clearly or something, I'm like rewinding, like, what did they say? What did they say? So I'm trying to add like context in those regards and try to make it a fun interview. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to cut it up and try to do smaller videos with the same interviews to maybe entice people to go watch the longer thing. But that's one of my goals going forward into 2026 is to do a lot of interviews, and then also cover a lot more self-published alternative comics. I think are 2 of my big goals for the year. Let's see what you guys talk about. Here's Fear Monarch. I did pick up the Lone Wolf Cup Deluxe. What amazing packaging and what a story. I struck out with that. I told you guys that I was going to go to my comic book shop and I had in-store credit there. I was going to try to pick it up, but they had sold out of it already by the time I got there. So my gamble did not pay off. So I'll probably get that much later, probably early next year sometime, unfortunately. But I will pick it up. I'm committed to collecting Lone Wolf and Cub. It was a little sad, though. I wanted to do a quick video on it. Quick turnaround. Too much to do at work. Have a good stream. Thank you, Lohit, for piping in there, chiming in. Taylor shows off Simon's books. It's only 1 M in there, but unless you're showing the Josh Simmons video. I don't know what the link to that one is. And then Taylor talks to a dude about drawing a witch. There's a lot of fascinating things that came up in that interview. The Simon Hanselman one I'm talking about. Just like he's very forthright about the comic book industry and the state that it's in and how hard it is to self-publish these days, and how he's just like the shipping cost and all that stuff that he has to deal with. And then also him trying to transition into making TV. He's trying to become a TV writer at this point in his career, which is super awesome. But so he's got a lot of irons in the fire as far as that goes. And those 2 things were fascinating. And then he just had an interesting life, tragic upbringing, kind of with how rough it was him growing up in Australia. But then him, like, especially the family stuff, But then him kind of having this a little bit of happy ending now with being married and having a child and things. I also realized when I edited, I say "and things" a lot. So and whenever I'm editing myself, I always pick up on the things I say a bunch. And that's definitely one of them. But it's really a good interview. Not just, again, not tooting my own horn, just even if you edited out anything I said and just listen to Simon, I would agree with that. I like the rambling longer ones. Like the live are going to have to be shorter. The rambling longer edited videos or interviews. Live are going to have to be shorter. Like, you think my live shows are too long? What do you mean, Josh? I'm always looking for feedback, so I appreciate it. I just need a little bit more info there. Badger Stump. I really have to pick up the Doris Danger book. It looks so good. It really is a blast. It was on the Fantagraphics Underground imprint as well, which doesn't get a lot of press, unfortunately. It's got the FU logo there. And it's also a smaller print run. So anytime you see something coming out of the Fantagraphics Underground imprint that looks interesting to you, don't hesitate too long on it. Because it's a small print run. I think they've reprinted a few things from that imprint, like some of the more popular things, but I honestly I'd like to understand what the point of this imprint is, because it is for the smaller print runs, but also they don't give it a lot of press to it. So just like, I don't know. I feel like there should be more intention with it, but what have you? I don't know. Picture Peepers, morning. How are you doing? Morning, Book Lord. Oh, is that his nickname? The Book Lord. Taylor loves when reporters are in danger. That's me talking about Doris Danger. Is slave labor graphics still around? I don't think so. I don't know. If they are, it's in a very small capacity, I think. Let's see if they even have a website. Slave labor graphics. slgpubs.com. Their website says it's still America's coolest publisher. And they have a new podcast. I don't know if that's new as of, I don't know how old that is. Oh yeah, their most recent post was in November 2025. SLG publisher Dan Votto authors first book, My Diecast Life. It's a first prose collection. It's available December 18th. So yeah, they're still around. They're still kicking the tires around things. I don't know what that even means. Their website's got Invader Zim, Johan Vasquez stuff. Let me see. They have a shop. Mr. Butter Chips. Oh, they also did Durf's Trailer Parks. I know this is intriguing. I should have just shared my screen with this one, but I wasn't intending to spend a lot of time on this website. But yeah, they're still around, it looks like. In a very small capacity, but, still around nonetheless. Slave Labor Graphics published some of Mike Allred's comics. That is true, some of his early comics. I kind of like it better in black and white. I disagree. And I'll tell you why. The black and white definitely looks good from a reading standpoint. But a lot of the meta aspects to it are in the coloring, I feel like, because you get really bad color jobs on some pages, some really good cleanup ones, but then also the marker where this kid Brad G is always writing on these with marker or crayon, and he's even critiquing some of them, he says this one's boring, and a lot of the coloring aspect to it from Ricky Sprague I feel is kind of a masterclass of how to fake this kind of thing. I would love to interview Ricky Sprague and figure out how he pulled this off, because it's quite amazing. Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor and Tom Scioli all were known for kind of playing around with those color aspects to make things look more aged than they actually were. But I feel like this is the best job I've ever seen of that. It emulates it in such a way that if I were to print these off in single issues, because it does have a white banner around the page, but if you were to print these off just as the yellow pages and hand them to somebody, you could probably fool them into thinking it's actually an old comic. So I think the color aspect to it adds a lot to the nostalgic factor. Loving Lone Wolf, upset that they still aren't doing the color pages, but hot damn. Interviews, if they are part of the live show, got to be on topic since. Oh, okay, I got you. I understand what you mean. Yes, rest in peace, Ed Piscor. That was one thing I was able to talk to Simon about too. Just his, it was a brief moment in the interview, but because Simon had traveled with Ed, and they went to some festivals overseas together, and because I know Ed had brought up Simon Hanselman a number of times throughout the kayfabe videos. They never showed off Simon's work, unfortunately. They didn't really show a lot of contemporary stuff off, but at least not from their peers. But he would bring up Hanselman's name quite a bit. So I knew that they had a friendship of some sorts. And so I was able to bring that up, and Simon kind of told a little funny anecdote about Ed Piscor, which was nice. But yeah, back to you, Josh, though, interviews. Yeah, I mean, my goal is to do like a quick 20-minute interviews of just like of cartoonists plugging their next work. Like if they have like a book coming out, and it's kind of like in and out kind of thing. And then I could do more extensive interviews otherwise that are more comprehensive of their career and things. But I don't know. I think I'm going to do it this way for now, and we'll see how it goes. That's kind of the what you have to do as a content creator is constantly evolve and move things around. Breaking news. Ablaze acquires NBM. Terry Nantier will remain as a consultant. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you, super producer, for breaking that news. I do have some news to talk about, though. I've actually really prepared this show in a way that's hopefully going to look good on screen and things. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on here. But we have some news in regards to Free Comic Book Day and what that's going to look like in 2026. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's talk about Free Comic Book Day and how it's going to evolve and look a lot different this year. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So this news is coming from, I have bits here. Why is this doing that? I have bits here from Bleeding Cool and bits from AIPT. So those are the sources that I'm basing this off of. But it says this one is from Rich Johnston. Penguin Random House, despite pressure from comic book publishers they distribute, did not come to terms with the new owners of Free Comic Book Day, unlike Lunar Distribution. So, real quickly, just to explain that, Free Comic Book Day used to be owned by Diamond Distribution. Free Comic Book Day was started by one comic book shop proprietor in, I think, Southern California. And then he sold the rights to the Free Comic Book Day name to Diamond. So that's why Free Comic Book Day going forward every year was had like a branding to it, and Diamond started it and controlled it and handled it and distributed all the comics and everything. So when Diamond then filed for bankruptcy and then they're going to be sold and all that stuff, that name still is like a trademark, copyright, or whatever. So I can't just go and make my own Free Comic Book Day and call it Free Comic Book Day because that's owned by someone else. So as Diamond was selling off their assets and selling off, which that's one of their assets, but also selling off just the whole company of Diamond, Free Comic Book Day was bought out by Universal Distribution, which I don't think there's any sort of connection to Universal Studios. Maybe. James, I feel like you talked about this story a few times or shared it. Is Universal Distribution, there's no connection to Universal Studios or anything, is there? And Warner? But unlike Lunar Distribution, so Lunar Distribution has made a deal with Free Comic Book Day. And so instead, Penguin Random House is going to have their very first comics giveaway day. And Penguin Random House is going to be doing the exact same thing, or has trademarked, and will be on the 2nd of May, 2026, the same day as Free Comic Book Day, and it'll be doing the exact same thing. So Yeah, so we're gonna have comics giveaway day and free comic book day on the same day, the 2nd of May, 2026. Anybody that's celebrated free comic book day in the past, you know that it is always the first Saturday of May, or has been for the last 20 plus years that it's been running. So they've kept it the same day. I find it interesting that they decided to go head to head on this. I'm not sure why they didn't go different days. I think it would have been more effective if one did it in May and one did it in like August or even like November, maybe like Black Friday-ish time. I don't know. I just feel like it would have been better if they split and kind of like, rather than have those direct competition, have this like separate competition. And then also that would give, so James says, it looks like Universal Publishing is a division of NBC Universal. Okay. So then there we go. It is. Oh, so that's probably why the ties to Lunar are there, because Lunar is the distributor of DC. Yes. Okay. So it's all connected then. Interesting. But yeah, so it's interesting they're going head to head. I don't know if I agree with that choice. I feel like it would have been good for comic book shops to have two separate kind of tentpole days, especially when you're split with the big companies. Like DC is with Free Comic Book Day in Lunar, and Marvel's with Penguin Random House in Comics Giveaway Day. So it's not like either one of them would suffer from having like that big name attached to it. And then you can have this cool competition day of which one had a better giveaway day. But I digress. Lunar, we'll get to the Lunar titles. I have some of that information, but first we're going to talk about the Comics Giveaway Day from Penguin Random House, and this includes publishers Boom, Dark Horse, IDW, Ignition, Kodansha, RH Children's Books, 10 Speed Graphics, Tokyo Pop, Wattpad Webtoon Studios, as well as Marvel. So up first, we have the titles for some of these and the covers for some of them. Let me scroll down better here. So from Boombox, which is the Anka Boom, which are the imprints from Boom Studios. Let me zoom out a little bit. We're going to have one comic's going to have Jim in the holograms plus My Little Pony, because My Little Pony, I don't think I talked about that on the show, is going to be with Boom Studios for now. So that's going to be interesting. And then Garfield. There'll be a Garfield comic also with the Kaboom imprint. Artwork to be revealed. Also from Boom Studios, we'll have a Power Rangers Comics Giveaway Day issue, as well as Something is Killing the Children, Road to Slaughter will be a big free comic book day issue coming out. Or Comics Giveaway Day. Sorry. Comics Giveaway Day. Scrolling down, we got Dark Horse. We'll be doing something with Nickelodeon. It'll be the Avatar Legends issue. This will have work by David Booher, Bailey Rosalind, Chris Peter, Comic Craft, and we'll have Masters of the Universe / Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, sorry. The Avatar book has Minecraft as well. And then Dungeons and Dragons is going to be paired up with Masters of the Universe, which will be written by Tim Seeley with artwork by Andrew Cranky. I don't know how to pronounce that. DJ Travis and World Design on the lettering and coloring. Colin Kelly looks like he's doing the Dungeons and Dragons one, and Jackson. Oh, so the Hive Mind. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing are doing Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, it's in the title. I was trying to read the really small print on the picture there. Alessandro Miracola is the artist on the Dungeons and Dragons piece. So this is CGD. So we all know FCBD, Free Comic Book Day. Now there's going to be a CGD. Coming from IDW, they're going to have a Sonic the Hedgehog issue as well as a Lock and Key issue. And the Lock and Key issue is written by Joe Hill, artwork by Gabriel Rodriguez, and it says Lock and Key #1. But I don't know. Someone let me know. Does that look like, is that just a reprint of the first issue of Lock and Key? I know that's not the cover for the first issue, but it says a #1 on it. I don't know if this is a new series they're doing with Lock and Key. That's the one that I was kind of questioning. If anybody knows, let me know. And then Sonic the Hedgehog, it says #1 on that as well. I don't know if that's a reprint or if that's just like a comic giveaway day numbering or what's going on there. or if they're renumbering the series and kicking it off with this. This one's coming from, I think, Kodansha with this set here. Or Ignition Press and Kodansha. Okay. Ignition Press has this one, which doesn't have a title on the cover. I don't think I have the information on that one. I have no idea what that is. And then Blue Lock full color selection. So Blue Lock has been, it's like the soccer or football manga that's been like selling gangbusters in like Walmarts and Targets and bookstores. Now they're doing a full color edition or selection, it says. I do wonder if they're going to do the whole series in full color, and this is a little preview of that. I can definitely see that being like the future of manga, honestly. Like especially the more popular ones with the kids that sell in department stores like that. I can see them doing like full color editions that the kids like, I guess. And then from, I don't know what publisher this is, but this is Pizza and Taco. So that's one for the kids. And then School Bus Graveyard. That's the webtoon. Webtoon is the School Bus Graveyard. And then we have more here. Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. And The British Are Coming from Rick Atkinson. That's the 10-speed press, I believe. And I forget the other one. The other publisher on that. And then from Webtoon Unscrolled, we have, I don't know what that's called. Oh, it's called Unscrolled. Okay, Webtoon. It's a Webtoon. It's called Unscrolled. Sorry. Or is it? Those look like three different series, actually. This is the problem when you don't have actual titling on the cover. And then Stitch, Best Food Forever. So Stitch has been this is Tokyo Pop. They've had a really good run in the manga selections. I know they've released a couple hardcovers of the reprints of the manga and in the stores. So I've seen those. So that's and then Marvel. Here's the Marvel title. So Marvel unveils Comic Giveaway Day for 2026, its own spin on Free Comic Day with exclusive issues. New titles debuting include Amazing Spider-Man 1000 and Armageddon X-Men and Queen in Black previews. Comics feature major Marvel Universe events like a new symbiote saga and the Summer Armageddon storyline. Bonus releases include stories from Alien Predator, Planet of the Apes, and a kid-friendly Spidey Adventures. So we have some covers for this now. Here's the Queen in Black storyline, as well as the Avengers X-Men Armageddon storyline. It looks like the Queen in Black one is the Amazing Spider-Man number 1000. Is that like the official Amazing Spider-Man 1000 though? Like they're not going to do a separate issue? It's kind of surprising they would sell that or give that away for free when they could sell that for. They could do 1,000 variant covers for it or something crazy. But I'm trying to look for creative teams here. It doesn't say. Okay, cool. And then, here it is. So the Amazing Spider-Man 1000, Queen in Black. It's written by Joe Kelly, Al Ewing, and Philip Kinney Johnson. Art by John Romita Jr., Ivan Coella, and Nick Klein. Those are some powerhouse teams there. Oh, it's the road to Amazing Spider-Man 1000. Okay. So this is not the 1000th issue. This is the road to it. So they are going to sell Amazing Spider-Man 1000 for a big kind of tentpole selling point and probably do 1,000 different variant covers. I don't know. And then the Armageddon X-Men number 1 is to kick off that event. And it'll be written by Chip Zdarsky, Jed McKay, and Ryan North with artwork by Federico Vicentini, Frank Alpizar, and Delio Diaz. The cover for that was by Ryan Stegman. Their other offerings are, when I first saw this, I got real stoked. Planet of the Apes, Alien, and Predator. I thought that was going to be a crossover. I would love to see those three titles cross over into one big story. I think you could do amazing things with that. But these are just three separate stories within one single issue for Comic Giveaway Day. And also, we have Spidey and Friends, Spidey's Amazing Friends, which we have had these issues every year for Free Comic Book Day. But this year, 2026, we're going to get Jeff the Land Shark. Or Jeff the Shark? Well, I'm probably butchering that. What is it? Jeff the Land Shark. Yeah, I had that right. Jeff the Land Shark is the title character there on the cover. I know my son will be excited to pick that up. The Alien, Predator, and Planet of the Apes #1 was written by, or will be written by Saladin Ahmed, Jordan Morris, and more. Artwork by Roland Bosky and more. I guess I haven't figured that out yet, maybe. And then from Alien to Predator to Planet of the Apes, it's a tale on a planet that's already succumbed by xenomorphs. And then What's Great as Fighters, all this in a return to the planet. Yeah, so I don't think it's crossover. I think it's just 3 separate stories. And then the Spidey and Amazing Friends will be written by Danielle Krieger and Krager, artwork by Goodman Yamada, and cover by Paco Medina. So that's it. That's the comic giveaway day that's been announced so far. I want to catch you on the chat before I go to Free Comic Book Day. What is NBM? NBM was one of the oldest graphic novel publishers in North America. They published almost all indie comics. Isn't Universal the Syndicate comic? Looks like Universal Publishing is a division of NBC Universal. Also, anyone getting an ad every 6 minutes? I don't know. I can't. I haven't got too many on my second screen here, but yeah, apologies to that. I don't know what to say. I feel like the community is just going to call it Free Comic Book Day. Maybe, yeah. I mean, depending on which one wins, I guess. But, you know, who knows? I'm not getting any ads, but I have YouTube Premium. Have you read Beto's Lovers and Haters yet? And also, do you enjoy his recent work? I do, but it seems controversial among L&R fans. Great question. First Kings, thank you for joining me. I have read it. I'm still doing my review on it because I'm gonna do a video for that and Roy, the Roy issue #1. I don't think I have either of them within reach. But his recent work I don't know. Like it's one of those things that I feel like Gilbert and Jaime have earned so much cachet with me as a reader that I'm willing to go on any ride they take me on. I will say I haven't enjoyed Gilbert's stories as much lately as I do like those early Palomar stories. But I do like the Fritz movie stories where she's like a B-movie actor and he'll do like these genre titles separate that are like the movies that she's starring in. I think it's a really cool concept and idea. So yeah, I've liked it. Yeah. Roy, I will say, I wish there was more to it. I don't know if it's because I'm used to reading Gilbert stuff in longer graphic novel format or not, but I just wish there's more story there. I liked what I saw, but I just felt like I wanted more. So I'll be looking forward to the next issue. And I feel like Natalia Hernandez, excuse me, his daughter that debuted, or not, she didn't debut, sorry. It's the first time she did a comic with her dad. In that issue of Roy, I wanted more of her story as well, because she went to this like really surreal kind of story that was really intriguing. But I feel like she didn't have enough pages in there. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. How do you feel about it? First Kings. I'm cheap and just got hit again. Tired of listening to it the whole time. Webtoon Unscrolled guessing their print version. Yeah. The apes would die in a page. No way. Are you kidding me? They'd be crafty. Bought a Spanish hardcover edition of the Eternaut as a Christmas gift for my dad, but am unsure of which edition to get for myself. Do you think the Fantagraphics release is worth the higher price? Absolutely, Uncle Sam. Absolutely. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. I can actually grab it. I went within reach here. I've never seen a Spanish edition or any sort of foreign edition, so I can compare the two. Let me stop sharing my screen real fast. But I showed this off when I first unpacked it, but it's a really, really beautiful collection. The way they presented this is amazing. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you can see this good. But it's in this beautiful slipcase, and it's like die cut, so you can see like there's like a hole there for his head. And then here's the book, and it's presented in landscape format because it was serialized in a newspaper of some sort. And it has like this really thick plastic dust jacket that's really good, high quality. And then here's the inside cover. Now this one is different. This new printing. The first printing was all silver on this cover, but this has like it's like this colored rainbow effect. You can see like an embossing of the Eater knot on the book. Other than that, I think the presentation is exactly the same as the original. But again, this is die cut. So you see the guy's face there. And the actual printing of it is beautiful. Like this truly, like I can't implore everybody enough. You have to pick this up. This is truly one of the greatest comic books of all time. The story throughout it is just massively intriguing. The way it builds, the artwork is breathtaking. It's black and white line work. I cannot recommend this enough. It truly, if I were to make a top 10 list of greatest comic books of all time, this would definitely be on the short list of books that I would be trying to pick between. If I were to shave it down to top 10, it would be like if I'm making that list, I'm going to immediately just draw. Whenever I make a list like that, I just get a piece of paper and just write out every title that I think would make it. So I'll probably write out like, I'm doing it backwards, 50 titles on there, and then I'll start shaving it down. This would definitely be on that short list. So yeah, this comes out early January. I think January 6th, whatever that week is. And I can't implore people enough to pick it up. But yeah, this edition is beautiful. If you're looking for, I don't know what the Spanish edition looks like. I'd be curious, kind of curious what it looks like. But this one's great. And I will have an overview of that on my channel whenever that's the week that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I also enjoyed Roy #1, but the art was noticeably sketchier. Yeah, it kind of felt like to me whenever Gilbert does like his offhand, like he does like a quick like little monster sketch or monster story that even looks like a Jack Kirby monster kind of, or maybe his Blubber story as well. Do I have Blubber down here? Yeah, I do. Blubber, this hardcover here with all these cool monsters. Can't really show off too much here, but there's some really good puke panels in here. Oh, there's like him wrestling, I guess. But it kind of reminds me of the style he does for Blubber, I guess. But I don't know. I always did enjoy how Gilbert and Jaime, despite growing up together as brothers and despite having the exact same influences of comics they were reading in the house, have two totally different distinct styles of art and storytelling. Like, it's kind of crazy to me. Give us the Ewoks versus Predator and the book we need. Is the book we need. That'd be awesome. A Star Wars Aliens crossover would be cool too. I always thought Guardians of the Galaxy versus Aliens would be an awesome crossover. Especially if you expand the roster of Guardians of the Galaxy to like anyone that's ever been on the team, then you can like actually kill off some characters. It'll be an Elseworlds tale, of course. Can't recommend Each Not enough, but I wish Fanta would do the collection of the sequel. The 69 Brescia version they also put out is great too. I missed out on the Brescia version. I still need to pick that up. And I didn't know there was a sequel. That's interesting. Is a sequel by the same team? Should have noted that as well. It's Osterheld and Lopez are the creative team. I'm finally getting this book from Fanta. Did realize Corto Maltese was black and white. Yeah, I'd realize that. Are you asking me? Follow-up question, but does anyone think the Fantagraphics release will stay in stock long enough for the Fantabucks sale? I don't want to deter you either way. The Fantabucks sale is usually in March, correct? I would say it's a strong possibility. I think they would do a pretty big print run because it's been out of print for a few years and people have been clamoring for it. It's not often that they have a title like this where they have a really big pre-order announcement ahead of time kind of reprint if it's not like a Disney comic or Peanuts. Like Peanuts, they have like the big thing right now, like they're reprinting the first 16 volumes and they have it on the website. But this and Space Hawk are both getting kind of bigger publicity with the pre-orders and reprints. I don't know if it's like a test in the waters kind of thing of them doing more reprints, because typically with Fantagraphics, when they reprint like a Carl Barks volume or a EC Artist volume, it just kind of happens by secret. Like it just kind of slides through the catalog and all of a sudden it's available for order. They don't really make a big announcement about it, but those they did. The Eternaut one, it made sense because they had the Netflix show in conjunction with it, which I will note for anybody worried, you can see that there's no Netflix sticker on my book. It is on there because it's on top of the plastic that was wrapped in the book. But once you rip the plastic off, it's gone. So I know some people were worried about that. Some people were like, I'm not buying the book because it has a Netflix sticker. Like, come on. It's one of the greatest comic books of all time. Don't not buy it just because of that. I feel like that is a safe bet. I would say so. I would be kind of shocked if it was sold out by March. I have the old Corto Maltese from Universe that were cut and fit into smaller pages, and those were in color. Oh, I guess I've never seen them in color before. I've only ever seen them in black and white, which I feel like that comic deserves to be in black and white. Yep, same team. Osterheld did it until his capture/death. The second part leans way into the meta elements. Meta element. Is it so? Has it been reprinted in English, or have you seen like a scanlation of it or something? I don't think it's ever been released in English. Or are you reading it in Spanish? Do you read Spanish? I've taken 8 years of Spanish in my life, but I don't think I could read a Spanish comic book confidently. I should note my sponsors, by the way. Shop for comic books at panelboundcomics.com and use my promo code TaylorTalksComics to save $2 off of your order. That's Taylor Talks Comics, all one word. And you can save $2 off your order. They have a sale going on right now for Christmas, the holiday season, where some books are up to 50% off. So check that out. All of the $2 will be stacked on top of the savings on the website. And if you put a bigger order in and you order 4 books or more at panelboundcomics.com, you use my other promo code, and that is TTC Ship It Together, all one word, TTC Ship It Together, and that'll save you 5% off in addition to any of the savings you find on the website. And you can also pre-order books. The pre-order prices are always cheaper than their sale date prices. So if the book's in stock because it's on sale, that price is going to be more than if you pre-ordered it months before that. So check those out. And you save some money on comics. I get a little kickback for the channel. We all win. Fun fact, Picture Peepers has 3 custom bounds of this series. Same. Buy things at Panelbound Comics. The wiki I linked has the synopsis. Oh, okay. Well, I will check that out. So free comic book day. To get back to what we were talking about before, let me share my screen. Share screen, Google Docs. Make sure it's coming in okay. All right. Alien Predator. I already went over that one. I don't need to talk about that one anymore. So if you go to freecomicbookday.com, it looks like this. Nothing. Epic reads await. Stay tuned. And that's it. That's all I had. Just kidding. So Bleeding Cool and AIPT both announced or had press releases for what will be on Free Comic Book Day. The website's just not been updated for whatever reason, which is kind of disappointing. It was one of my something I looked forward to every year is whenever Diamond would do the big announcement of what's going to be on Free Comic Book Day. They'd always do it around November, December for some reason. It'd be like 6 months ahead of time. I feel like they could have like held on to it a little bit longer and did a big announcement in like March or April. Although I guess shops need to order ahead of time too, because there's that whole thing. I don't know, but I digress. They haven't updated the website yet. Hopefully the new team that owns Free Comic Book Day will be better about that. And I don't think there's a comic giveaway day website, which would be nice. But it was cool. Like you go through and see all the titles they have available for that day. My son and I would like map out which ones we want to pick up. And because Free Comic Book Day, him and I always do kind of a big deal. Like we go and drive all over Indiana going to different shops to celebrate and get things for discounted prices because a lot of shops have sales those days. It's really a lot of fun. Last year was kind of disappointing. Only one of the shops in the state of Indiana seemingly was running a sale of any kind, so we didn't really go to too many. But yeah. So Free Comic Day. Here's what we know. Mad Cave Studios is going to do a Flash Gordon black and white reprint edition, as well as a series called Terror Bites black and white reprint edition. And then AWA has a sample of an unknown graphic novel from Big Names. That's where they are with these announcements. We just know it's an unknown graphic novel, and it's got big names on it. Rekka, which I don't know who this is. Who is Rekka? Rekkcah. I must have missed who this was as a publisher. I don't know who that is. But it says the future is Bleep, annual by Fred Valente and Juan Gideon. Vault Comics. Here's where I don't know. I keep accusing him of this, but I don't. Bleeding Cool, Rich Johnston. He always has like the synopsis above each article, so you don't have to actually read the article. You just get the summary. I don't even know why that is a thing, but it always seems like it's written by AI. I can't confirm that. And maybe AI would have done a better job here, but he has Vault Comics print launch of Dungeon Keeper Carl by Matt Dinneman, Tevaga, and Laurel Pursuit Studio. Now, I have not read Dungeon Crawler Carl yet, so I can't claim to be like a big, huge fan of the series, but I do know it's a very hyped prose novel series, and the fact that they're doing Vault Comics is doing the graphic novel adaptation of it should be a big deal. To call it Dungeon Keeper Carl and have like that error in this story is kind of embarrassing, to be honest. I don't even know where he would have got that from. Dungeon Keeper Carl. But it is Dungeon Crawler Carl, I confirmed. They did not change the name for the comic. And then Vault Comics also has Anana by Anana Sarkis, Tim Seeley, and Adamir Leal. And then Titan Comics says Gun Honey Doubles Down #0 by Charles Adai and Ace Continuato. And also Conan Tides of the Tyrant King #0 by Jim Zub and Jesus Marino. We do have some covers for you. Oh, geez. Scroll. Hold on a second here. Here's the covers of the black and white editions of both Flash Gordon and Terror Bites. So those would be pretty cool. I've not read the Flash Gordon series. Has anybody else read that? It's by Jeremy Adams, who's a writer that I really do enjoy. And then Mark Russell with Terror Bites. Mark Russell is one of those writers that I need to read more of. Every time I read something from him, I love it. He's got a great knack for social commentary. And then AWA, here's a sneak preview. Something magical is coming. During this year's first Saturday in May event, which, by the way, that was the name they were going with at first, was called First Saturday in May. I'm assuming that was a placeholder until they nailed down what to call it / trademark it with the comic giveaway day. But yeah, there were announcements coming out calling it First Saturday in May event, which I don't think you get any more generic than that. But it had to have just been a placeholder title. I don't think they're actually going to run with that. So here's the AWA announcement. Invites readers into a first glimpse of a bold new graphic novel from Eisner-winning creators. This free preview offers a first look at an upcoming project that will launch in 2026. We're not ready to reveal everything yet, but trust us, you'll want to be here when the secrets start to unravel. So that could be anybody. Here's the cover of Dungeon Crawler Carl. You can see that it was an error. I'm going to read the prose book, the first volume, and I will pick up this free comic book issue to see if I want to follow the comic book version. I usually have a trouble going from the original medium something is told in and then doing an adaptation. More times than not, it's not good. There has been some cases here and there that's been good, but like I just read the Slaughterhouse 5 adaptation, the graphic novel adaptation. I was gonna do a video on this, but I kept toying around with it, and I don't know. I don't like doing negative videos, but it's by Ryan North, and I forget the artist. Ryan North is a tremendous writer. And the artwork was great, but as far as an adaptation of Slaughterhouse 5, it missed on so many things. And I think it's just because Vonnegut, writing style in Slaughterhouse-5 are so hard to adapt. I don't know that anyone besides Vonnegut could do it. I know there's been a movie adaptation. I have no interest in watching it. There's like, he had a kind of a wild storytelling devices throughout that, and I don't know that you can capture that unless you're in his brain, but I don't know. So I'll give this a shot after I read the first volume of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is will be my January prose book. I like I've said, I've been trying to read one. I'm going to try to read one prose book a month. I'm finishing The Shining this month, and the next month's going to be Dungeon Crawler Carl. So that'll be exciting. And then here's Rekka Comics. I don't know what this publisher is. And Vault Comics, Dungeon Crawler Carl #0. You can read the first chapter for free. Wow, you can read it. Collects the first episode and more of the Webtoon series. Oh, there's a Webtoon series of the comic? Okay, interesting. And then here's the Gun Honey covers with the Conan the Barbarian covers. And that's it for Free Comic Book Day. And then I do have a quick DC announcement after that. What do you guys have to say about Free Comic Book Day, though? Hey, wait. When is the next video from you? Oh, Picture Peepers, he's talking to you. I finally cracked the first Creepax volume. I have all the way up to the Arrows Comics volumes. I've not thank you, Matt, for joining me. I haven't collected any of the Creepax books, which I feel like I'm missing out on those. The artwork does look beautiful. I don't know. I missed out on some of those. What's your top Free Comic Book Day issue ever? Pickup ever? I don't know. Like I love the Hip Hop Family Tree one that Ed Piscor did. I know what it is. Actually, speaking of Ed Piscor, it's the Red Room Free Comic Book Day issue. I think because there's a whole complete story. I think that some of these publishers don't give you enough to chew on with these stories. They give you like just a few pages mixed in with some ads or something. I feel like some publishers really missed the opportunity here because this is the opportunity to get so many normies in that don't read comic books to try out your comic. And if you don't give them enough to sink their teeth into, to want to go out and continue buying your big event that you're doing, Marvel or DC, then what are you doing? So I think to offer a whole complete issue, yes, I understand you're losing money because you'd have to pay for the talent to do it without earning any money back. But it's an investment for the future to try to do a complete story. You pay for that creative team to do the story. You give the audience a whole complete story, and then hopefully they come back and buy the rest of the series. That's the way I would look at it as a publisher. I understand there's budget issues, whatever. But back to my original point, Ed Piscor, since he was an entity of his own and his own company and his own publishing house, if you will. I know Fantagraphics published it, but he was able to, for budgetary reasons, able to do his own story and did a full complete story, is in color, and it was like toned down a little bit to be like more PG-13, probably more PG, honestly, but it's about the kids, and they're kind of like it was kind of a precursor to me to what his last works, which was the Switchblade Shorty's story. But it's a whole complete story. It was a series that I was really digging, which was Red Room. That's probably the most. And honestly, I think a lot of Free Comic Book Day issues are largely forgettable. I don't know. What are your guys' favorite Free Comic Book Day issues you ever picked up? I have a lot of like things that I hold on those days from big sales that I remember picking up those will stick with me, those memories. But as far as like the comic book issues, I don't know. Is it because Hoosiers aren't as good as Colorado? I bet Colorado had more Free Comic Book Day sales. You're throwing some shade there, buddy. Well, maybe I should tell my son that we can't shop around the Hoosier state because I'm not a Hoosier. First Kings, not a pickup, but I love when I get to do art for shops myself. That is cool. I do like when shops do have creators and stuff. It's an opportunity for shops to have a bunch of customers come into your shop for the first time ever. Anytime around town that parents or whatever catch wind of like Free Comic Book Day, free comics. I wish my kids would read more. It's such a huge deal to get these people into the door. But what are you doing to get them to come back into the door? So you got to do it up creators come in there, do signings if they can, have sales, so people like will buy stuff. But there's some shops in there. I've gone to so many shops on Free Comic Day. Some shops are like only take three free comics and that's it, and they're like they're not welcoming. They don't like have any sort of like customer service. They don't have any sort of sales going on. No enticement to like buy other stuff. They're really doing themselves a disservice, shooting themselves in the foot when they do that. But I don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, I just like when they do a Free Comic Book Day in a big way. I really hope that is like an old carnival trick and it just has the unknown creators' names, really big font on the front. Oh, like the AWA ones. I've heard good things about Flash Gordon. Same thing with Dick Tracy book. My TBR pile's been too big, so I haven't picked them up. Matt, totally feel you. Have the exact same excuse on both of those titles. Oldmar has been loving Flash. Oldmar, I like that. Savior of the Universe. Soon, Josh, very soon. For a video? Nice. Owen, good evening. How are you doing? You can read Dungeon Crawler Carl comic now on Webtoons. There you go, if you want to try it out that way. First Kings. I agree that Slaughterhouse 5 adaptation missed the mark. I didn't appreciate the censorship especially. Yeah, it just, I don't know. They try to do some different things with it too, which whenever I see an adaptation of something, I don't want to see a direct beat for beat adaptation. So like when people are mad that comic book adaptations are not like into movies are not one-to-one adaptations, like, oh, they changed the color of that costume or they changed this thing or whatever, like, or the order of these events in the origin story didn't line up or make sense. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see you do your own thing. Like, it's like a cover song. It's the greatest comparison I can think of because I love a good cover song. And the bad cover songs are when someone just does the exact same, like karaoke, exact same song, word for word. It doesn't sound any different except for maybe the voice. Those cover songs suck. What I want to see is like if you're doing a cover song of like a punk band, but you're like a folksy band, like I want to hear your style, your version of that. So when same thing, if James Gunn is adapting Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't want to see him doing the exact same thing that Lanning and Abnett and Lanning did. I want to see the James Gunn version, which is what we got, and it's amazing. I love it. So as far as like the Slaughterhouse 5 thing, I wasn't upset that Ryan North and the artist who I'm missing the name of did their own thing, but the spirit of the comic or the spirit of the original story, I feel like was not there. It was kind of soulless a little bit. And again, it's not a fault of North and the writer, or sorry, North and the artist. They're both tremendously talented. I think they just picked a really bad story to try to adapt. I think it's really hard to adapt. And I'm glad they took the risk. I always say I'd rather a creative talent swing for the fences and strike out rather than just play it safe and bunt. So the fact that they tried it, I'm not, upset at them for. Conan. Also, curse you, Taylor. I want more creepy and eerie now. Good, Josh. I need more people to buy them so they stay in print. Oh, wait. The Free Comic Book Day hardcover from Archaea, full mini hardcovers of their Free Comic Book Day collection. Is that a thing? I never even heard of that. Monster Mash. I had the Creepax books, but they were too big and took up too much space, so I sold them. Monster Mash, that's an issue, for sure. Oh, geez. What's happening? Okay. Was the Red Room issue collected in any of the trades? I don't think so, actually. One thing that upset me too is that they never collected any of the variant covers in the Red Room trades. And I have a couple of the Red Room trades, but I didn't pick all three of them up, and I eventually probably will. You can buy the Free Comic Book Day issue on Fantagraphics website for $5. It's still up there, the Red Room issue. That's really cool. So if you're missing that issue, it's still available on their website. But I'm going to pull up the trades here and see if it was collected in any of them, because I don't think it was. All right, so here's volume 1 had, it doesn't say. It doesn't say what issues it collects. That's annoying. What about volume 2? escalates. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Nope. Okay, volume 3. I don't think it was. It says they both say collecting a 4-issue series. I don't think it was. That's my final answer. But I will say that it seems like the Piscor family has they've talked about doing an omnibus of the Red Room, which if they do, I hope they get like an Ian Chalgren or Jim Rugg to design the book and really put all the bells and whistles to it. And I hope they include all the variant covers because especially the Jim Rugg variants are amazing. I hope they include those, and the free comic book day should be cool. And any sort of process material, I think it could be a really cool book. And I think the series I think it's almost underrated because I feel like it's got so much crap from people for being like over the top violent or whatever people are upset about. That I think it's actually good. Like the artwork was Ed Piscor's best of his career, hands down. Anatomy and everything in his drawing, beautiful artwork. Yes, it's super horrific and violent and over the top. And I understand if you don't like that thing, but that doesn't make it inherently bad either. Just because you're not into that thing doesn't make it bad. Like I don't like country music, but I'm sure there's some talented country music artists out there. I can't just say like they all suck just because I don't like it. But I like Red Room a lot. Josh is the first trade. The art is beautiful though. Is it in the first trade? I think it's upstairs. I don't think I have it down here. Because I want to say I think I have the first and third trade. I don't know. I have 2 of the trades. I know that, but I'm missing one of them. I'm from Colorado. Who likes indie? Me? I don't recall it being in the first trade. I have to recheck now. I own the first the issues and the trades. I know. I own all the single issues. I own 3 of the Jim Rugg variants, and then all the single issues and the free comic book day issue, and then 2 of the trades. I think I have volume 1 of the trades, and then either 2 or 3. I've been at shops that sold comics, and they didn't hide the ladder. Oh, that's interesting. Like currently they did that, or like back in the day? The shops have to pay for it. I get not easy, but yeah, most shops aren't run well. Yes, I totally understand. There's like a budgetary thing where it's like an undertaking to have to pay for the free comic book. Like they're not free to the shop; they have to pay for them. But again, it's an investment. Like you have an opportunity. It's the biggest sales day for every shop every year, is free comic book day, and that's for sales. It's not just the free comic books they're passing out. They are actually doing good sales in those days. So the bigger you can make it, the better. Find some way to entice people to come back into the shop to where they're not just coming for that one day every year, where they come back for more. If you see a kid pick up a free My Little Pony single issue, show them on the racks where they can get the paperbacks too or something. Find ways to get them into more. Just say like, hey, if you like that, come back. There's a whole section of My Little Pony right here. Or Jeff the Land Shark. You like that guy? Here's the trade paperback. You come pick it up next time. My LCS usually does a free cookout and soda. The free books are outside, discounts on back issues, buy 2, get 1 free. On graphic novels, that's a good deal. Include artist editions and omnis. That's a really good, I like that. I've never been to a cookout in a free comic book day. I have had I don't know if this is a thing in other states, but we have like a local chapter of Ghostbusters. Is this a thing in other states? It's like the Indianapolis chapter of Ghostbusters, and they don't actually bust ghosts, but they dress up as Ghostbusters. They have like the proton pack and everything. Like they're all decked out, but they have like the Indiana flag around their Ghostbuster patch, and they have their different names and things. But they even have like the car, the Ecto mobile, but they go and do charity work. So they go and go to different events. Trying to raise money for charities like children's hospitals and things. So they're usually, I've seen them at a comic book shop outside in the parking lot doing like cool little giveaways and games and things. I keep saying things. Now it's like cognizant in my brain every time I say it. So that's really cool. I've seen like that kind of thing. My LCS, the one that's most local to me that I've been going to for over 20 years now, which is crazy to me. They typically do like a 20% off, 30% off graphic novels, which I always try to go there and support them because I like to have a comic shop in town. But yeah. Heroes aren't hard to find. Brought artists in for free sketches. Usually still freeze. Sales like a ton of dollar comics and more. Recommend that shop. That's cool. I am wrong. It was not, in fact, in the first trade. A little shocked by that. Yeah, I don't think it was in it collected. But it's cool that it's still available because some of the better free comic day issues do become harder and harder to find. I believe Pittsburgh has Ghostbusters. If not, I know for sure West Virginia has one near me. Okay, so it is like a thing, like the local chapters of Ghostbusters. I'm sure they all do kind of like the charity work and that sort of cool stuff. Just see how I pivoted there. I was about to say "and things," and I said "and cool stuff." But the DC news. I can go through that real fast. Because this is kind of cool. I have to say, between Marvel and DC, I'm not reading a lot of their current stuff, either of them, but DC has done a better job of making me intrigued by what they're doing than Marvel. I'm not really into the whole absolute ultimate thing. Those are annoying to me. I could go on a rant about those. But their like current stuff is more interesting to me. Like anything to do with Flash, I've been really into with Jeremy Adams and Joshua Williamson's runs were really, really great. So this is they had previously their all-in event, and this is just showing up white on the screen. I know that's pretty boring. Let me scroll down here. Last year or the year before, they did like DC All In. Well, this is their next initiative where they're doing, it's called DC Next Level. So this is in continuity. This is not some sort of absolute thing. They're just adding to the current continuity. It's like a new chapter of events. I guess it's kind of like, New 52 and Rebirth. And then we had All In and now Next Level. I guess it's sort of like that. I don't know if that's a one-to-one comparison. But you see right here, we got a cool picture of Lobo, Batwoman, and Deathstroke. I'm a huge fan of Lobo. If one of the moderators wants to share it, I did a video on the Lobo Compendium. Was super stoked that book came out. We need more Lobo comics, especially reprinted, especially that era. Huge fan of the character. I kind of wish that he would be this character that DC would bring in, this kind of outsider talent to come in and do Lobo comics and just do whatever they want. Like Dana Warren Johnson, the minute that he dropped the first issue of what's that book called? I'm drawing a blank now. Murder Falcon. Sorry. Jeez. The minute that the first issue of Murder Falcon came out, no audio. Am I muted? Can everybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up, somebody. I think everyone else can hear me. Anybody can hear me? Anybody? No audio. Can you hear me? Am I good? I'm just going to keep talking until somebody tells me otherwise. I can hear you. Okay. I don't know what's going on. All right. Anyways, the minute the first issue of Murder Falcon came out, DC should have been hitting up and pushing a Brinks truck over to Dana Warren Johnson's house and said, we need you to do Lobo, because he had total, like, a new fresh style, but it kind of fit the tone of like the classic Simon Bisley Lobo comics. But we had a good Lobo series in a number of years, but I think that's going to be corrected because we're getting a new Lobo series now, and the team on the Lobo series is Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Yes, giant applause. Scotty Young, definitely a kid from the early 90s that's talked about professes love of the early 90s Image comics and that extreme style, which definitely was fitting into Lobo. A little bit out of left field, but still kind of fitting in that tone. A little bit of a commentary on that style too, I think. But Scotty Young came from that, cut from that same cloth. And Jorge Corona, who has worked with Scotty Young a lot, is going to be the artist on it. And I feel like they're both are going to do an amazing job on this. I cannot wait for this series. I think it's going to be awesome. I don't know how many issues they've signed up for, but I hope it's like 30. I don't know. We can't get enough good Lobo comics. And then Batwoman is going to be done by here's an image of it. I know Dini is the artist. So I have like a trying to see if they have an announcement here on here. I didn't save that part. Okay, I don't know who the artist or the writer is. Revealed, kicks off major creative escalation. Scott Snyder, Josh Williamson. They're gonna be in all these stories are gonna be in continuity. Sorry, I should have known. New Batwoman series. Who the creative talent is on this? No, not. Oh, Greg Rucka. Is it Greg Rucka? Yeah, and Denis. Greg Rucka is the writer, and Denis, D-A-N-I, is the artist on that. Who she's, I think it's a girl, has been doing she's been kind of a hot artist in the industry. And then Tony Fleece and Carmine Giandomenico are doing the Slade Wilson Deathstroke, the Terminator #1. There we go. I got the creative talent on there. So Tony Fleece has obviously been a hot writer, and Carmine Giandomenico was the artist on a lot of the early Joshua Williamson Flash comics that I liked a lot. So I love his artwork. So all three of these are intriguing to me. I don't think I've been this excited about an announcement from Marvel or DC in a long time. But you can see here, Williams says that these are in continuity, but the series will be independent reads and not heavily tied to other books. They will exist alongside DC's ongoing comic book series like Superman, Batman, Justice League Unlimited, and more. Snyder added that the rollout will mirror the philosophy behind the Absolute line. The DC Next Level books are all new reader friendly and will roll out over time, like the Absolute line. This is an initiative that welcomes new readers. This is what I wanted the Absolute line to be. The reason why the Absolute line drives me nuts is because it's not in continuity. It's like the amount of energy and money and excitement you're injecting into the Absolute line, just inject that into your normal continuity books and they will sell. You don't have to do the separate continuity stuff. So it sounds like they're doing that, which is even more intriguing for me. I like that as well. Here's there's a picture by Denis with Batwoman. They'll be written by Greg Rucka, which will be exciting. And then here is the Giandomenico Deathstroke, which will be written by Tony Fleece. Here's the piece that I want to point, though. So Snyder says, we can't wait for you to see what's coming. This is just the beginning. Williamson says, this is just the second phase of what we plan for DC All In. And he concludes, there is a legion of stories still to be told. I feel like that word legion was in there very deliberately. I think Joshua Williamson said legion to allude to Legion of Superheroes. There's been a tease of a Legion of Superheroes run coming out, and I think that's what's going to be coming. I think we're going to see a really cool Legion of Superheroes run, which we haven't had a great Legion of Superheroes run for a long, long time. I know Bendis tried his thing, but I love Legion of Superheroes, so I'm stoked for that. Hopefully we get that, and hopefully we get more Doom Patrol. I would like that as well. So what do you guys think about these before I get out of here? Dun-dun-dun. Bum-ba-da. I'm wrong. I just want to point that out again. Josh Greyhouse. I am wrong. I should have saved that picture. Someone screenshot that. We should have that for future needs. About 6 artist editions on last free comic book day sale. That's awesome. So you only paid for 4, got 2 free. Great deal. The art for the new Lobo and Batwoman is pretty cool. I agree. Here is Taylor Talks Comics Lobo, Big Fragging Compendium, Volume 1. Thank you for sharing that. The Deathstroke looks dope. I have audio. Want to get into British comics? This is also the Lobo book. And yes, it is kind of like a pseudo 2000 AD book, which makes it great. Simon Bisley's Lobo was great. I agree. Absolutely amazing. I think the Momoa Lobo casting reveal is going to see a big push for him in comics. I'm down, especially with another compendium. I hope so. I hope we get an omnibus, a Lobombanus, a Lobo Bombanus, Lobo, whatever. And I also think Jason Momoa as Lobo is perfect. Did not like him as Aquaman. I thought it was a miscast. Didn't make any sense to me. I didn't like the jokey Aquaman. It felt like they're just trying to make MCU Thor, but underwater. But him as Lobo is awesome. I'm glad that they went that route. Sorry, that was on my end. Oh, that's fine, Dana. Can you top Bisley? No, but Bisley's not doing interiors anymore, so who do we have? And I think a Daniel Warren Johnson Lobo series would be just brilliant. Never going to be sad seeing Rucka's name show up on a book. Denis just did the Universal Monsters Invisible Man book. It was great. I still need to pick that up. Thank you for joining me, PNT. And yes, that's where Denis made their name. Is that a does anybody know if that's a woman, a guy or a woman? I'm going to start posting to other channels after that screenshot. I am wrong. I was just kidding. All right. So I'm going to get out of here, do my last minute plugs, put your last minute comments in while I'm doing my plugs, and then we'll all skedaddle. So up first on my plugs, smash the like button, subscribe, comment down below. Super chats are always welcome and super appreciated. Yes, everyone give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. If you're watching this on replay, I reply to all comments, so don't feel like you missed out on the chat. Shop for comics at panelboundcomics.com. Use my promo code TaylorTalksComics, all one word, TaylorTalksComics, to save $2 off of your order. And if you're putting a larger order in of 4 books or more, use my promo code TTC, ship it together, all one word, TTC, ship it together, and save 5% off that order. They have a big sale going on right now. As far as next week goes, I'll probably be taking the week off because it's Christmas. Christmas Eve is on Wednesday. I might sneak in a show in the evening. I don't know, but probably no show next week. The following week after that, it'll be on a different day. It won't be on Wednesday. And then after that, January 7th, we'll be back normal time, same bat time, same bat channel, Wednesdays at noon Eastern. But stay tuned on social media. I'll explain and announce whatever days I'm doing those things on. But next week, probably no show. I want to see Shioli do Lobo. That'd be awesome. I think even Jim Rugg would do a great Lobo. That'd be awesome. Denis is a woman. Okay, thank you. Have a great Wednesday, Taylor. Thank you, Dana. You have a great day as well. There's my Discord. Everyone go over there and talk comics with us. Thanks for these. Always fun middle of the week. Curse, you getting me to try new things. Hey, I try. James never post shops. Oh, panelboundcomics.com. Go buy some comics and keep talking comics.